If you're of a certain age, you miss ECW. It was just a whirlwind of madness when it arrived on the scene, and do not get it wrong. The then WWF and WCW borrowed a lot from Paul Heyman, as well as a lot of his roster, but it was lightning in a bottle. So let us get nostalgic today, because I am Simon from What Culture. Please do go caress that subscribe button and click it. And this is the 10 greatest things about ECW's last year. Number 10, Taz returns to save the day. When Taz returned to ECW to topple Mike Awesome on the 14th of April 2000, it was like time stood still. Because yeah, for one, the man who loves the color orange was underemployed to Vince McMahon, but two, Awesome worked for WCW. This was like the Twilight Zone. As Mike had signed while still the ECW champion though, Paul Heyman put in a call to McMahon, who he was buddy-buddy with, and asked if the human suplex machine could make a shocking comeback. Incredibly, Vince said yes. Fans lost it when they saw this, as you would, and after Taz had won the gold, he even wore it on WWE TV. That was mostly just so Triple H could beat the ECW champion on Raw, but let's not worry about that. It was only a few weeks before Taz dropped this to Tommy Dreamer at CyberSlam, but none of that mattered. This was so damn cool. Number 9, Dusty Rhodes versus Steve Corino. Steve Corino never really got his big opportunity on a big stage. That's a shame. While he was an idiot for a while, in 1999 he evolved his persona to become more of a cutthroat, insane guy, as he teamed up with Jack Victory, Tajiri, and RHINO. This really did give him some legs, because as 1999 rolled into 2000, Corino found himself face to face with none other than Dusty Rhodes. Not only did this give us a crazy bloody bull rope match at the Living Dangerously pay-per-view, but it was so nuts it gave Steve some serious credibility. Plus he was duking it out with a legend who sold Corino as a threat. By November he'd also won the big belt and was easily a bright spot as ECW fell onto hard times. And yes, that was a pun. Corino would have likely got some momentum as he was just putting in the work, but clashing with the American Dream really was that extra something. It was great. Number 8, Jerry Lynn, ECW champion. It was in 1997 when he found himself in Extreme Championship Wrestling after a forgettable stint in WCW, and almost instantly he showed the world he was a top-tier wrestler. With the freedom bestowed on him by Paul Heyman, he started to have banger after banger after banger, to the point on occasion he was the best damn person in the company, and nobody could touch him. So it was a mystery, like Evolution, that he never claimed the world title, which thankfully changed during ECW's dying days. He beat Just Incredible for it at Anarchy Rules 2000, and while he only held it for a month, this still meant a lot to people. Lynn deserved it. It was actually Steve Corino who took that title off him, so that ties in, but look at it this way. Given his run in the company, it would have been offensive if Jerry didn't have one raid like this. The dude was fire. Number 7, the return of Rob Van Dam. So this is almost an extension to the last entry, as despite being ECW's most popular star, RVD was never the world champion. The promotion went kaput before he got his chance, and while he got a variation of the belt when WWE relaunched the promotion, I'm not sure that's the same. Well, no, it's not. Come on now. It's not like he didn't have his moments though, such as beating Bam Bam Bigelow for the DV title in April 1998. That is a feat in itself, but Rob then held on to this title for 700 days and defended it a crazy 121 times. The only reason that stopped when it did is because Van Dam broke his ankle in a match against RHINO in January 2000. It meant he had to take a few months off, and man, when he returned, he was treated like a damn king. It helped that he also debuted the Van Terminator move, which just blew fans' minds at the turn of the millennium. And yeah, with or without a belt, RVD was the dude. He also embarked on a run of feuds that were just so damn good, including against Jerry Lynn, Scotty Anton, and RHINO, when all of this hit a wall. As ECW ran into trouble, Robert wasn't being paid, so he stopped coming to work. Can't blame him for that. He did come back for the final Guilty as Charged pay-per-view in January 2001, but we're focusing on the whole 12 months here. There's a reason everybody wanted to sign him as soon as he was free. Van Dam was the best. Number 6, Cyrus the Virus. Also known as Don Callis, it has been his work with Kenny Omega in recent times that has reminded fans how good the man is. And yeah, a lot of this was born as ECW was saying goodbye. Because from mid-1999 to the last day, Callis was Cyrus the Virus, deliberately borrowing that name from John Malkovich's Con Air character, and quickly becoming the most hated guy in the company. We achieved this by keeping things simple too. ECW's TV partner TNN was all over Paul Heyman about the violent that content, so he took his frustration out on them by telling Callis to go out there and act like he was the network. As such, CYRUS would stop the more extreme nature of the promotion, and because fans loved all that, they hated him. It was really smart. It also helped the likes of Steve Corino, RHINO, and Just Incredible, kinda, to the aforementioned world title glory, and even when Extreme Championship Wrestling was on its last legs, it was the virus who took pride in its death. This was a super smart decision, and one that not everybody could have pulled off. Don Callis smashed it. Number 5, the ascension of RHINO. Go and watch anything RHINO did in ECW from 2000 to 2001. As well as holding on to the TV title against RVD, Jerry Lynn, Tajiri, and New Jack, it positioned the man beast as a true force, so much so he went and won the World Championship too. The only slight shame is he claimed his prize during ECW's last pay-per-view and only got to defend it on 2 house shows, but again, what we chose to do with him on said premium live event. Taking on the Sandman, RHINO was done with him within 60 seconds, which was doubly shocking as the hardcore icon had only just won the belt after a grueling tables, ladders, chairs, and canes match minutes earlier. So not only did that just break some hearts, but it meant RHINO was a dual champion as ECW closed its doors, cementing himself as a legend forevermore. Number 4, the Impact players explode. So this gives me the chance to gush about Lance Storm, so gush is what I'm going to do. Easily one of the most underrated performers in history, Storm should be consulting for all the wrestling promotions on the planet because the man gets it, born to do it. Praise also has to be heaped on Just Incredible's shoulders, for he was on fire at this time too, and together as the Impact players, they became one of the best tag teams around. Paul Heyman saw this and made sure they won the ECW tag team titles twice, and they took on everyone. Tommy Dreamer, Raven, Shea Douglas, Mike Awesome, The Sandman, Masato Tanaka, Sabu, Jerry Lynn, Rob Van Dam. I mean, who didn't they face? The beginning of the end was when Justin defeated Dreamer in an impromptu championship match at CyberSlam 2000, deciding that was more important than his relationship with Lance, which of course triggered a feud between the two, and if you can believe it, this was also great. You have to watch their single matches to get the whole story, and this was just long-term planning done right. It was good from top to bottom. Number 3, from Impact player to main event player. And yeah, as we just talked about it, Just Incredible deserves his own shout-out. Dude took the ball and he ran with it. You can argue there were better workers in ECW, but Justin was no slouch, and he just had this cocksure attitude you need to get to the next level. Creddle doubled all of that as soon as he turned his back on Lance Storm, and he held the World Championship for 161 days and defended it 17 times. You name it, and he beat him too. It's character work that can still be studied and learned from today, and let's not forget he also did this with the silliest name possible. This also means it's brilliant, because that is what wrestling is all about. But again, this doesn't get talked about enough. It was a true revelation. Number 2, Guilty as Charged, finishes the stories. Coming from the Hammerstein Ballroom on the 7th of January 2001, Jerry Lynn versus RVD main evented to culminate their insane feud that had been going on for years. We've already talked about how RHINO also finished his ascension to the top of the card, and we put a full stop on the Unholy Alliance and FBI program. We also made sure to let Tommy Dreamer get his win over C.W. Anderson, all of which had been in the work for ages. That's not to say this was a perfect show, because it definitely wasn't, but the fact so much effort was done to make the final pages make sense, well, it's just a nice thing to do. For one, Paul Heyman goes off. I am so flubbing tired of the flubbing network, is what Paul Heyman sort of said during the 2000 Living Dangerously pay-per-view, and man did he mean it. Obviously he was aiming this at CYRUS the Virus as to avoid any serious ramifications, but the vitriol in how he delivered it was clear for all to see. He hated TNN and he didn't care anymore. Given that eventually Heyman saw the writing on the wall though, he stopped giving a crap, so just did his thing. This resulted in him often grabbing a microphone and shooting from the hip, and while it couldn't have been good for their relationship, as a fan it was awesome. He was just letting us in on everything and getting you riled up in the process. He really did cut some of the most passionate promos you're ever going to see during this period, and given that he's already one of the best talkers ever, well, you can just imagine. Or you can go and see it with your eyes and hear it with your ears. It is all out there. Now, please do leave a comment below and let us know any more great things about ECW's last year. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com where you can read articles like this with your eyes. Make sure you follow us on social media at Simon316 and What Culture WWE. And we have a lot of other videos. And I promise you, one is definitely for you. My name is Simon for What Culture. Thank you very much for listening to me as always. And I'll talk to you again very soon.